Hello guys, today I want to discuss something that I actually have talked about before on this channel. The Apostle Peter. I'm not looking at it from a Catholic perspective, as the Catholics view him a bit differently than Protestants. Just overviewing what the Bible himself says. The Bible says he was the first disciple, him and his brother Andrew. And that when Jesus first found them, they were out fishing. This is Matthew 4:18-20. Simon Peter and his brother Andrew were fishing. Jesus says to them, "Follow me, I will make you fishers of men." And immediately they follow him. They don't protest or argue or even ask why. They immediately believe. And as Christians, that's what we need to do. Yeah. Well, most of my information I'm reviewing is coming from the book of John right now. I know the other Gospels discussed too, but John is where I have my notes. So, in chapter 6, after Jesus gives a speech, a lot of disciples turn away because they don't want the truth. How many of us can understand that? But Jesus asks them, "Do you want to go away?" And John 6:68 and 69, Peter gives a response, "Lord, to whom shall we go? You have the words of eternal life. Also, we have come to believe and know that you are the Christ, the Son of the living God." They just had to follow him around for a while. They didn't need God to come down or any other signs. Here's what they know thus far, according to the Bible. They've seen Jesus create wine out of water, seen him driven out the temple, they've seen him heal the nobleman's son, they've seen him feed the 5,000 with loaf and bread, they've seen him walk on water. But at this point, that's all they've seen. And those are certainly impressive, but it would still be easy to argue this was just a regular prophet, like Elijah or Isaiah. But they know this is the Son of God. That's how great their faith was. Now, what I'd like to discuss is the second half. When Jesus is preparing for the Last Supper, he washes their feet. And Peter says, "You shall never wash my feet." Now, you could argue this is pride, but it's actually different. See, washing your feet then would have been a sign of humbleness, being a servant. Peter is saying, "No, don't wash my feet. You're above that." And what is that's John 13:8. When Jesus responds, "If I do not wash you, you have no part with me," Peter's immediate reaction is, "Then not only my feet, but also my hands and head." That's the next verse, 9. So he washes the disciples' feet, they sit down to dinner, and it reveals he'll be betrayed. He tells Peter in verse 13:36-38, Simon Peter said to him, "Lord, where are you going?" Jesus answered him, Where I am going you cannot follow me now, but you shall follow me afterward. Peter said to him, Lord, why can I not follow you now? I will lay down my life for your sake. Jesus answered him, Will you lay down your life for my sake? Most assuredly I say to you, the rooster shall not crow till you have denied me 3 times. 1 second. See? Out of this magazine, we discussed the disciples and Peter a little. Yes, Peter is adamant. I will die for you. I'll go to prison for you. I will not betray you. But Jesus, not only does he not believe that, he knows 110%. As being God in the flesh, he knows that Peter will reject him. He talks a bit with the disciples. And even confirms that he's God in the flesh. If you had known me, you would have known my Father also. Now on you know him and have seen him. Philip said to him, Lord, show us the Father, and it is sufficient for us. Jesus said, Have I been with you so long, and yet you have not known me, Philip? You who has seen me has seen the Father, so how can you say, Show us the Father? That's John 14:7-9. So he talks with the disciple, prays, and then is arrested and taken. Now Peter is waiting by a fire to see what will happen. And 3 people accuse him and say, hey, you were with him. But he denies it vehemently. He's like, no, I'm not. And he hears a rooster crow and realizes what happened. That despite all his words, he really did end up betraying Jesus. And it shows he immediately feels remorse. This is actually the book of Mark. Then Peter called to mind the word that Jesus had said to him, Before the rooster crows twice, you will deny me 3 times. And when he thought about it, he wept. Jesus is murdered, then brought to life again. And Peter beelines to the tomb, and he has no reason to believe Mary and the others. Think about it. This is not only is she a woman in this time, but also someone who used to have demons. No, why would you believe that? But Peter does. He's so contrite and ashamed of what he did. He has to go and see for himself if Jesus is back, if he can make it up to him. John 23:8. Peter therefore went out, and the other disciple, and were going to the tomb. So they both ran together, and the other disciple outran Peter and came to the tomb first. And he, stooping down and looking in, saw the linen cloths lying there, yet he did not go in. And Simon Peter came, following him, and went into the tomb, and he saw the linen cloths lying there, and the handkerchief that had been around his head, not lying with the linen cloths, but folded together in a place by itself. The other disciple, who came to the tomb first, also, when he saw and believed. Think about it. Mentioned that she was the first one he went to. They must have known how important Peter was, and wanted to tell him that. Now, this is also mentioned in the book of Luke. Luke 24:12. But Peter arose and ran to the tomb, and stooping down, he saw the linen cloths lying by themselves, and he departed, marveling to himself at what had happened. He also has to check Jesus' returns, of course. And Jesus sees him as they're fishing. Peter and a few other disciples are out fishing. When Peter realizes who this is, he immediately goes into the sea to get to the shore and see Jesus. How excited he was. He didn't even wait for the boat to come back. Now, this is a pretty well-known verse, but I think a lot of people miss the underlying text. Jesus asks Peter 3 times, "Do you love me?" Then asks him to tend to his sheep and his lambs. Now, the 3 times, Jesus is kind of testing him. He's mirroring how he was denied 3 times to see if Peter has repented. And when he sees that Peter has, he realizes himself. That's when he explains it. John 21:18, most assuredly I say to you, when you were younger, you girded yourself and walked where you wished. But when you are older, you will stretch out your hands, and another will gird you and carry you where you do not wish. This he spoke, signifying by what death he would glorify God. If you know what happened to Peter, you know that this came true, as he was crucified upside down, as he felt he didn't deserve to die the same way Jesus did. I know I've been a little out of it, and I need to confess, I was not good today. Confess it, not only to God, but to other people. Didn't read the Bible much, but even worse, when God, I could have spent time with him, I didn't. I was watching a film with my mother, and I didn't want to ignore her. I think we all have that. It's not my first time. And I've borrowed a couple quotes from this today for this video. I borrowed a Twitter post when I discussed feeding my lambs and how he means help my children, not actual sheep. And then I borrowed from Instagram posts about him first appearing to a woman he exorcised demons from. So I have to do it one more time. One moment. I forgot the quote actually, but I've been trying. I actually deleted social media so it won't distract. And I really do want to be better. Now, remember the quote now. We can't rely on our own desire and strength and will because it's flawed. It's broken. We have to only rely on God. Well, we have to go before Him each day and say, not my will, but yours be done. I'll see you guys soon.